So I just beat Dragon Age Origins for the first time, and I feel a little underdressed, so I got some fake blood here. Is this off-putting to you? Looking like I just went for a leisurely backstroke in an infinity pool full of fish heads? Would it perhaps be better if I did my lines while using only my hand motions and not once breaking eye contact? I can't do that for long. Makes my eyes water, although it could be the blood. Okay, though, for real, I just beat Dragon Age Origins for the first time, and what took me so long? Do you see the shelf? Do you see the shelf of games behind me? There's a lot of games. Do you know how many of them I've beaten to completion? Not very many. And I did try beating this game when I first got it. Whenever that was, years ago probably. Whenever that was, Chris Koosland, male human noble, went on a journey to save the world, and that journey ended in Ostagar. And when I say Ostagar, I mean just arrived in Ostagar. Didn't take part in the Battle of Ostagar, didn't go through the joining, never met Alistair, arrived in Ostagar, and Finn. Years later, his facially tatted, enormously mustachioed brother Loose Lips Koosland went on a similar journey, and, much to my surprise, he succeeded. He united a country against a dangerous enemy, deposed a treacherous usurper, failed many a speech check, and did a bonk-bonk with a forest nymph. And he did this all while looking like he was practicing his butterfly stroke in an infinity pool full of fish heads. And I am so proud of him, because it was so hard. Not the task itself being hard to complete. I mean, I ripped through this game like a wet fart in a wind turbine. I'm just saying the hard part was getting up the gumption to actually play it, because this game was a slog in a bog, dog. I will say this, though. This game is 10 out of 10 Game of the Year, because there is a dog, and you can pet him, and I named him Smooch Pooch. Oh, Mr. Darkspawn, I tell him not to jump. Oh no, he's chomping on your trachea. I'm sorry, it's just how he gives kisses. I mean, I tell him not to. He doesn't listen. You just have to love him, pet him. Oh. At the start of the game, I decided to be a male human noble, which is the least interesting of the backstories that you can pick. I also decided to be a warrior class, which is the least interesting of all the classes you can pick. So, right from the outset of the game, I picked all the bad options, which is, I guess, my fault for not doing adequate research on a video game before I started to play it.
Unite shattered lands.
Do you know, at the beginning of the game, for those of you familiar with Dragon Age Origins, there are two characters you can get in the town of Lothring, Leilana and Sten. Guess who found out that you could get them after Lothring was destroyed and you couldn't go back? This guy. And because of that, I had to go through the entire game with a severely limited party. First, there was Morrigan, and she hated everything I did. It got so bad that there was a point in the game where I just disallowed her from being in the active party because I was so sick and tired of seeing the Morrigan disapproves heartbreak emoji all the time. There was Oghren, whose crime was being a warrior in a party full of warriors. Not my fault. He wasn't awful, but he wasn't good enough to take either mine or Alistair's roster spot. I mean, hell, the dog also fundamentally functions as a warrior class, and Oghren couldn't outshine him. There was Zevran, the elf man with a hysterical accent that Loose Lips was trying to romance, which he was doing because Morrigan disapproved. There was Alistair, all-around good guy, died first in every single fight, probably my fault. There was Wynne, pleasant grandma, lifesaver, and the only one of these meatbags who I was actually upset in real life when I found out she was disappointed in any of my actions. But thankfully Dragon Age Origins subscribes to the materialism heals all wounds tenet of relationship mending. What's that? You disapprove of my wanton murder of the innocent? Perhaps this coconut monkey full of coin will change your feelings on the subject. And then there was the dog. Mr. Darkspawn, just take your head out of his mouth. Now, I completely respect what BioWare did for this game. There are 6 different backstories that you can choose from that all allow for 6 completely different introductions to the Society of Ferelden and the way that the world building works. But unfortunately for me, in this very large shelf of incomplete video games behind me, it's hard for me to just go back and completely redo this game and do it right. because there's not enough time in the world. But I'll tell you this, if I were to play through this game again, I'd probably be like an elf mage or something. That way I could blow through the game in God mode, and I'd actually have an opportunity to interact with and confront the bigotry of the world itself. Would I still get the dog, though? I mean, if I don't get the dog, I'm fucking out. After 30 hours of struggle, I finally beat the archdemon, and holy shit, what a bad boss fight. I trapped the dumb fucking an animation loop over and over when I'd hit him with the ballista. He'd get hit by the arrow, he'd roar, and then before he could attack, I'd hit his ass again. And then he'd roar, and before he could attack, I'd hit his ass again. I had to do it to him. And I noticed that I had hit him with so many arrows and trapped him in the animation loop of Rah! About to attack that I had interrupted his death animation. I was laughing all the way through the end credits. And that's what I'm really here to talk about today. The end credits of Dragon Age Origins, a decade-old video game. Now, I was sitting there, because I like to sit through the credits, just listen to some score music, and I'll screw around on my phone, taunt the game I just beat. You never know what I'm doing, you know, looking up the news of the day. And I was listening to the score music, I was enjoying it, and then something strange I heard. I started to hear talking. I'm like, that's, whatever. I put it in the back of my mind, and then the talking turned to singing, and I realized the singing was Jared Leto. You know that weird noise that I stopped recording for? Yeah, it turns out my upstairs neighbor's washing machine was flooding, and that flooding was coming downstairs, and the second I stopped recording, the second I hit the off button on the camera, the smoke alarm started to go off, so I've been dealing with that. What was my thought going to be? I don't even remember what it was. Oh, I think it was 30 Seconds to Mars's This Is War was playing over the end credits of Dragon Age, and I thought that was, well, isn't that just a silly little old thing? And it played twice, too. It played score music, Jared Leto, score music, Jared Leto. And I think I had a joke in there about, I hope that Sail by AWOL Nation plays over the end credits of Dragon Age 2. And will I even play Dragon Age 2? I don't know. Talk to me in another 10 years after I clean up all this water damage. So, fun. If you liked this video before it got to the unfortunate part, smash that like button, subscribe, and I'm gonna go now.